Good afternoon. This is Concert Cues of the Billings Symphony. My name's Tom Singer. And my guests today are our soloists for this weekend's Cowboy Christmas concert. And interestingly, their first names all start with C. There must be some alliteration fix going on here. So I want you to meet Celia, and you're trying to test me, aren't you? Christopher.
There you go.
And Clinton.
Right.
And the you're not exactly dressed. I understand you had a luggage problem.
Had a lot of problems. Luggage was one of them.
Fair enough. So we're gonna, these guys are nice enough to put the focus on you and not on me so that my tie won't show.
Yeah, you're the only one that looks good. And you, of course, obviously you.
So first thing I want to talk about is you guys have been here before, together.
That's right.
Yeah, so a reunion, an encore. How did this happen? What's the story?
It's a reunion plus the birth of the baby Christ.
Better than the birth of the adult Christ.
That's right.
Right, he called us and said, hey, do you want to do this thing we did a few years ago? And we said, yes.
Yep.
Because we had such a good time last time.
And so you got the call from Ann, and then sort of passed on. Yeah, very cool. And so Cowboy Christmas. Are we doing traditional Cowboy Christmas? Are we doing some of your own music? A couple of you I know are songwriters. What kind of mix of music do we have here?
I think this is a pretty big mixture of a little bit of everything. We've got some Loretta Lynn, we got some Merle, we got some Ella, Brooks and Dunn,
along with
traditional.
A bunch of traditionals, some hymns.
And a song that was written recently by Willie Nelson's son that we happen to love.
Yeah, Charlie Pride, who's a Montana native. Yeah, a lot of country.
Yeah.
But most traditionals are kind of interwoven beautifully in, so that it doesn't get too country.
Right. Well, and the program notes talk about how country's kind of at the root of a lot of Christmas music. But you guys all have feet in many other grounds, and let's talk about that a little bit. We got folks from Maine.
Yes, that's right.
And Florida.
Well, Key West.
He'll fight you on this all day.
All right, Key West.
150 miles from Florida.
Yeah, well, it's officially a part of the state, but I agree with you. It's a different country.
Yeah. Their own sovereign city-state.
Yeah. We tried.
We have.
So did we. We succeeded for a brief moment in time. I'm a Texan.
Which part of Texas?
Denton, which is just north of Dallas.
Okay. And where in Maine?
I live in Kittery, Maine. I'm from Vermont, though. I'd say most Mainers would consider Kittery as part of Massachusetts, unfortunately.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. I get that. And of course, we have Butte in Montana, which is we call it Butte, America. It really isn't Montana either. So, backgrounds. You're basically a bluegrass musician.
I am, yeah. I perform in a band called Della Mae. We have been around for 11 years now. Before that, I used to do a lot of rock and roll and blues. And one of my current partners in Della Mae found me in a bar doing just that and asked me to sing for Della Mae. I didn't think for a long time that my sort of deeper, more bluesy voice would be something that bluegrass audiences would like, but I'd say with 11 years later that we're doing really great as a band. It
mixes with the banjo and the mandolin well, is that?
Yeah, it goes pretty well, yeah.
I mean, you hear a lot of high male tenor voices in bluegrass, but
and high female ones. I mean, like Alison Krauss or Dolly Parton. I'd say I'm a little bit more June Carter.
Late era.
Yeah. Kidding.
And your background in music, what kinds of things do you do?
Pretty all over the place, I have to tell you.
And that's what I'm interested in.
Classical piano since I was 5, and classical singing.
Yeah, I saw that you sing with choruses.
Yeah, it's been a while. They don't let you sing in choruses anymore.
Well, Billings Symphony actually has been singing. We had a concert in November. Yeah.
They don't let us do that in New York yet, but sometime soon.
Okay, well, when you want to, come back. We're doing Beethoven's Ninth in April. So we'll
I've been trying to get Ann to get me on for a classical thing. We've never worked in classical music together, which is pretty odd.
Okay.
And I am a songwriter and toured around the world with the State Department. That's where Celia and I met.
In Turkmenistan on Thanksgiving 10 years ago.
And knows
Perfectly
my,
normal.
knows my wife before he knew me from musical theater school.
Been doing a lot of things.
Okay.
And most recently, I tour with the Mark Morris Dance Group singing Beatles music.
So do you dance?
I had to dance to audition for Mark at first, but no one's asked me to dance in a long time.
I see. And which of the 4 Beatles do you sing?
It's a very strange distillation from the jazz pianist Ethan Iverson of the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club album. So I'm the only singer on it, so I'm covering everybody.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really out, and it's really great.
Can we find recordings of it?
No, because it's the Beatles, the most copywritten band on earth. So you have to go see it in a theater near you.
Is it coming to Billings soon?
Not yet, but I'll work on it.
Okay,
I'll tell
please
Mark.
do.
Sure.
Christopher
Yes, sir.
Ryan Grant.
That's what they call me.
Yeah.
It was going to be just Christopher Grant, but there was another Christopher Grant in Equity, which is the union that I'm a part of, so I had to use my middle name.
I see.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I like it, yeah.
Strong 3-name.
It works so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a sea of 3 named actors.
Yeah.
And your background's a little different than these two.
Did my first play in the 3rd grade, never looked back. Went to too many years of school and paid too much money trying to learn how to do something that I already did well. But I also have a choir background. I traveled Europe and all throughout high school and college sang in chorales, and I had a barbershop quartet that I started in high school called Troubles Without a Cause. Yeah, you heard it. I also had one in college called the Cleft Dwellers, so I'm no stranger to singing, but my primary, yeah.
Chris has dozens of band names for future projects.
Most of them I can't say on camera. Like Celia, I've also been found in a lot of bars.
On the
No,
stage,
not
in front of it.
No, I'm primarily an actor. That's where I make most of my living. I've been on Broadway and film and TV. I do a lot of audiobooks, do a lot of voiceovers. I'm the voice of Downey and Head and Shoulders right now. So it's in our business you kind of make money the way you can,
Right.
And that often vacillates.
Whatever you
Yeah.
if you've
why
got a
he's
good
wearing this
agent, it's
cap.
whatever.
That's why I'm wearing this cap, because I was down there collecting change before you brought me up here. Got to get it where you can get it, you know.
Okay, so I'm beginning to understand the chemistry of this group.
Yes.
And I imagine that you have a lot of fun on stage together, which is probably part of the reason that you said, yeah, we'd like to do this again.
Yeah.
But so this is the only place that you 3 have gotten together, or have there been other gigs that you've done?
Actually, Clinton produced my solo album that I put out about 4 years ago. So after we met in Turkmenistan all of those years ago, I have been going down to New York to see all of these guys. I've played, Clinton has played in my band down in New York. So I would say we've all gotten pretty close. Actually,
I hung out in the studio during your album
yes, you did.
as a vibe guy.
And you drank all of the bourbon.
I don't know what you're talking
forget
about.
that. But Chris ended up coming to my house twice during the pandemic to sleep in my yard,
Yeah.
like the hobo that he is.
Yeah.
So.
Goodness. In a tent with my wife. It wasn't like I was just naked in the yard.
Yeah. So we do see a lot of one another.
Yeah, okay. And seeing one another, though, is different than singing together.
True.
So learning the parts, I mean, you all have done that on your own, but have you sung other times together?
No.
The 3 of us, maybe not.
Just here the last time.
But this is a pretty harmony-heavy show, and we were working it out earlier. And I have to say, I'm really pleased with how it's coming together. We couldn't get together, due to the pandemic. So we're really just doing the practice here.
Wow.
Get ready, Billings.
We're ready. We're ready.
I'm sure you are.
Chris will come up with a name for our trio by the time this interview is over, I think.
Again, I'm not sure it's supposed to be on camera.
And with Ann, have any of you worked with Ann other than in Billings, Ann Harrigan?
Yes, I've done, I think, 2 concerts with her in Battle Creek also, at her other gig.
Okay, so yeah.
I think this is my 3rd concert with her in Billings.
Really?
Yeah, there was a 60s music concert that happened probably like in 2013.
Okay. And both of those happened before I started doing this gig, so I didn't get a chance to meet any of you.
Or do a fabulous interview like this. This is the next level.
I'm not
And
sure.
I've been on NPR.
Tell us more, Christopher Ryan Grant.
They're going to scroll your credits.
Do you want to tell us about Yale Drama School too?
No,
He will. He'll tell you.
it was a fabulous 3 years.
And education. I mean, that's an interesting question, though. I mean, you talked about learning to do things you already knew how to do.
I mean, I was being facetious. I actually learned quite a bit there.
Okay. And I think we have people in our audience who would say, well, why? What's so hard about acting? What's so mysterious about it that you need to go to school?
Well, there's same with musicianship as well. There's talent, there's raw talent, but then that can only get you so far. The thing that's important is craft. And like, I'm not sure people who are outside of the business understand how much work we put into the craft side of things. So it's hours and hours and hours and hours of study. It's hours and hours and hours and hours of rehearsal. It's just, again, since the third grade, I've really been doing kind of the same thing. Academically, 12, 15 years. So, part of it's like learning history, theater history, and roots, just like you would learn musical history and how things work and build on top of each other, different styles. There's so many different styles of acting. There's so many different traditions worldwide, from kabuki to no theater to, traditional South American passion plays. Like we have to know about all that stuff because that informs how we do our work on any given project. So school's good. Stay in school. Especially when it's free. Thanks, David Geffen.
Yeah.
So, reactions to that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did do a little bit of theater when I was younger, and I think that does inform how I am on stage. I was pleased to start out in theater, and then I moved to rock and roll and blues. But certainly, without me really knowing it, I think I was sort of crafting who I am on stage and my skills on stage from probably around a similar age. Again, without knowing it, I was making up songs, singing songs, making a lot of noise. My nickname was Squawk Box when I was younger. So I've always been very, had a lot, that's it. I've always just had a lot of a drive to, share my emotions with an audience and kind of make them feel something as well. So I think it really, Chris is really right. It's like, honing your craft times time, times luck, You really can never tell how you're going to end up or where you're going to end up.
That's right. You said something in the middle of there. Oh, what I'm thinking about is your bio. There's mentions of Melissa Etheridge and Janis Joplin, and that's always occurred to me that they're as much actors as singers. They're putting out something that is or is not them. You don't know, which is what acting is about. And conveying something in music that's...
Yeah.
You played with her?
With Janis?
No, with Melissa.
No, I have not.
I had to play with her in Detroit. She's
Oh,
very
that's
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure she is. Yeah, I think there's always a kernel of truth at the center of whatever it is that you're acting or singing. I feel like that's how you can kind of pull these emotions out and, make the audience feel something, is that there's always some truth in it.
Yeah, well, any kind of performance you do, there's always an element of truth because we're such complicated beings. You can always find the place in you that's consistent with that, even if it's something vile and awful. There's that part of us too. At least that's my theory. Am I making any sense to anybody?
Absolutely, yeah.
So Christmas, all happy? I want to know more about
Certainly
this
not. Christmas songs a lot of them are tinged with loneliness and sadness, and that's where a lot of country songs also come from. And so touching on what you were just saying, no, it's not all happy, and we kind of chose. I guess we have some cheerful.
We have a range. We have a huge range. Yeah.
We're not going to bum you out all night, but there is a lot more than just happy-go-lucky in these songs, for sure.
So we'll come out feeling something, huh?
I hope so.
Yeah. Did you guys, what part did you play in picking the music?
In working with symphonies, it's not usually like this, but Anne actually reached out to us to try and help program it and do things that we were interested in doing, and it makes such a difference. And that's so rare.
Clinton did the lion's share of it,
Yeah.
but he involved the two of us. And is there things that you want to do that you're missing that you'd like to do? And yes, we each had a little part in it, but.
And you only backed out at the 11th hour of one.
Yeah, only one of them.
And you'll never know what it was going to be.
He's the mastermind behind the program.
Very good. I think we've used our time. I really enjoyed talking to you. I've really enjoyed listening to the music that I've been able to pick up of yours, and we're going to have a great time.
We intend to. Thank you so much for taking the time for this.
Oh, thank you.